Hello and welcome to Growth Office Partners. My name is Kimberly Simon and I am your host. I am excited today. I am joined by Dr. Angie Becerra. Hey, Dr. Angie, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
I am good. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
So, today we're going to be talking about what top medical practices do differently for profitability. And the context here is that the chiropractic market in the US continues strong. So, there's strong growth, there's increased demand for non invasive drug free care, and it's expected to grow through 2030. There are tens of thousands of practices nationwide with millions of patients visiting annually, but many still face workflow, scheduling, billing, and patient experience challenges that affect capacity and profitability. And those are the things that we're going to be talking about today. So before we start, Dr. Angie, we want to get to know you first, and then we'll get into the business. So
Okay.
tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up on this side of the world.
Okay, so I was not didn't know anything about chiropractic growing up. I was grew up in a small town or small-ish town, and there may have been a chiropractor there, but I didn't hear about it. When I was in my early 20s, I lived in Dallas, Texas, and I was going to school, I was working, I was doing all the things you're supposed to do in your early 20s, but I was just sick. I just kept getting sick, and nobody could tell me what was going on with me, and they diagnosed me with a few different things like chronic asthma, PCOS. They told me that I probably would have problems conceiving, and I was married, and children were in my future, and so these things were all very detrimental to me. I was working in banking, and I was thinking that was going to be my career path, something more corporate. And I met a chiropractor through the bank, and she told me all about chiropractic and about the nervous system and how the body can heal itself, which really resonated with me because I've always been one of those people who is like, let's work out, let's eat healthy, let's let the body heal itself before we go into other interventions. And so it did resonate with me. So I had a little bit of back pain, but nothing that I felt like needed to be like talked about with my doctor. So I went and saw this chiropractor, and she started adjusting me. And at first, my back pain went away, and I was like, oh, that feels pretty good. And then after a little while, a lot of the other health complaints started to ease. And I started to drop down on my medication with the help from my doctor. And then I got off of all my medication, with the exception of my thyroid medication. And then I saw an acupuncturist for that, and I was able to get off everything. So it completely changed my life when I was young. And so I was able to conceive. Fun fact is nobody ever told me, hey, maybe you should be careful now that everything else is working pretty good. And I accidentally got pregnant, but I have a beautiful 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So it really does, when your body works like it's supposed to, and not everybody's going to have the kind of dysregulation that I had. Some people really are just going to come from pain, and they're going to get adjusted, and pain and function is going to be why they come. But some people do come for whole body health, where they can get real lifestyle tips, real lifestyle changes, exercises, diet, which we do a lot of here. And they're going to have those lifelong changes. But yeah, we get both people. We get the just pain people, and then we get the, hey, there's something wrong in my life. Let's see what it is.
So, what a wonderful story. So, obviously, it worked for you. And then, how did you then decide, hey, I wanted to get involved, I want to get involved in opening up a practice? And then tell us a little bit about Taproot, which is your practice. Maybe let's get into that.
Okay, so after that happened, I was like, oh my goodness, why didn't anybody tell me about this? This is amazing. And it's so weird if you don't know the concept, like how moving vertebra in the spine can lead to like true healing. So I was like, nobody ever told me about this, but this is amazing. My life has changed. So I'm the first person in my family to go to college and finish college. I have cousins who have now finished college as well, but I was the first one in my family, and so like it was weird to me to think, oh, I need to go become a doctor. Like nobody even finished college. I was like, so I put everything in order. Like I put it out to the universe. I made the path, and I just followed it. And sure enough, it was pretty quick. And then I was out of school. And then I was like, oh, well, what am I going to do now? So I did have a few associateships that I jumped around in. And then I found an associateship that I stayed at for 4 years, which was a really, really good job. It was in North Austin. But while I was there, we were insurance based. And although a lot of people pay a lot of money for their insurance, insurance only covers like the tip of the iceberg. They'll get you out of pain, but they won't do anything for the wellness part. So I was seeing a lot of patients. I didn't get to spend maybe the amount of time that I wanted with them, and my philosophy for adjusting was a little different than the person I was working for. I mean, he has a great practice. He's totally helping a ton of people. But I like to spend a little more time on soft tissue, a little bit more time working on extremities, because I thought those were really important. So after about 4 years, we had an amicable split, and I opened Taproot. I opened it actually in Austin first, and then 2017 I moved it to the Hill Country, so I'm just north of San Antonio. And we've been open here for, I think, 9 years now. I think we just passed our 9-year anniversary, so it'll be 10 years here next year. We are a relationship-based practice. What that means is we do have slightly longer times. There is this fine line for patient care, though. Nobody wants to come to their chiropractor and spend an hour here once a week or twice a week or anything like that. So we spend somewhere between 7 and 15 minutes with patients. Sometimes they're here longer if they're getting another therapy, but we try to keep it short enough to where they don't feel like it's too much of an effect on their life, but long enough that we can give them the kind of care that they need.
That's good. Okay. So you started Taproot 9 years ago. What are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in managing and scaling the practice?
So, I mean, there's been a lot of them. I think when you've been in practice this long, we talk about a lot, we joke about a lot, like, oh, this thing happened, and we're like, I had this thing that I'm just like, it's just business. It's just business, it's just what it is. So things are going to happen, things are going to change, regulations are going to change, you're going to have people who are going to come in that maybe aren't good fits for your team, and it happens. So some of the struggles that we have is actually scaling. So I like shiny new products, and so do a lot of my doctors. So when new things come out, new lasers, new soft tissue therapies, new tables, we're like, yeah, and we're really excited about those things. So we do have to pump the brakes a bit, because we could bring off all these other therapies, but we have learned over the years that a lot of them will overlap and our profitability goes down. And then sometimes we'll bring in a new team member who does, so we have chiropractors. In the past we've had acupuncturists and massage therapists in here as well. Sometimes if we'll bring in a massage therapist, they won't collect as much money as a chiropractor, but they will take away from their services. And so things like that will help, will decrease our profitability. The thing that's helped our profitability the most is just having the right people in the right places and having that vision, because I have a vision. I can tell it to people, but they got to see it too. So
great. And then now I am curious. What is that vision?
So it's changed a lot. So originally I just wanted the one practice, and I know that I don't like practicing alone. So I knew that I needed another doctor in here with me. I currently have 4 doctors in here, including myself. I think I need 1 more doctor by the end of the year. So I like the team structure. But what I really want is I want this practice. So we have a very large building. We're a very big practice. I want this to be my hub. So I want new doctors to come in here who want to learn how to take really good care of their patients. Because the thing is, a lot of people like to say that you don't learn anything in school, and I think that's just really like small-minded, because you learn so much. I learned so much in school, but there is a lot of practical things that you don't get in school that you only get when you get to clinic. So
Yes.
I want to bring in new doctors who want to learn, who want to be the best in their profession, who want to see how it's done right. And maybe they don't do it exactly like me. There's probably a lot of good ways to do it, but the way that we do it works. So I want them to come here. I want to train them really well, keep them on 2 to 3 years, and then open them satellite clinics.
I love that. So, and I guess you answered my next question, which was, from your perspective, what have you found to be the biggest driver for profitability? And for you, it sounds like it's a lot to do with teamwork, getting the right people in the right seats.
Yes, the right people in the right seats, which is not as easy as it sounds.
It never is.
Sometimes people are in a seat and they're great there for a little while, and then it's time to either move on or move them to somewhere else. So, and I mean, it sounds like maybe it might be a little bit mean, but it's not. Like, you want them to have fulfillment in their job, and you want them to like reach the success for the business too.
And then that leads us right into technology. So can you talk us through some of the ways that you're using technology in running the business today? So things like scheduling, patient reminders. How are you guys leveraging technology to make life easy for you and to save time and security compliance? Just talk us through how technology is being managed for you.
So, absolutely, texting systems and online scheduling are absolute must. If you don't have those, yeah, I don't even know what you do. We unfortunately are a little bit behind the curve when it comes to things like online paperwork and things like that. I haven't found systems that I feel like we make all of our own forms, which I know a lot of practices don't. But I do a lot of research on them. They really work for our practices. It gets right to the core of what we're doing. So I haven't found programs that do it in the way that I want them to do it without being too expensive. So right now we still kind of like have a hybrid. We have some online forms, but a lot of them are not online. AI. I think year over year since I started using AI, it probably cuts, like I'm so much more productive and it cuts so much time out of my day. Um, which is funny because I had a staff member not that long ago be like, "You have to quit using AI so much," and I was like, "Dude, I'm
Yeah.
going to use it all the time. I don't. You can't tell me not to use it. I'm going to use it. I'm sorry if you know it's AI. Like if I'm sending it to my team, I don't care if they know it's AI. But if I'm sending it to somebody else, I do make sure it's absolutely cleaned up. And I always read everything that I send. But I mean, it cuts down so much of my time. I send a Monday morning email to my team. Sometimes they're pretty lengthy.
Yeah.
It's and I don't do like the scheduling and things like that anymore. I only do like motivation or things we need to focus on for profitability because that's more where I am in practice right now. So those are always super helpful. Plus, it helps organize me. It helps me write notes. My business coaches use it to like help with all sorts of things from like offer letters. They write their own GPTs. So we use a lot of AI.
That's great. And then that was actually my next question. So, as you think through guiding other practices on what's working for you in terms of AI, so a lot of the being able to draft letters, emails, whatever it is for you, but are you using AI for anything else other than creating those documentation drafts? Are you doing any intake forms with it? Are you doing patient follow-ups? Have you created any workflows, anything that you're using for AI that you recommend for other practices?
I have not used it for workflows yet. I do use the AI within Google Forms to help me write Google Forms when I'm doing surveys for patients. So we do occasional, or if I do know that there is some kind of bottleneck in the practice, I will survey patients because who else to survey? So I will use AI to do that. I used it recently. We were doing some secret shopper where I had other doctors secret shopping my practice, and so I used it for that, and it just cuts down on so much time.
It does.
Now, when it comes to note taking and things like that, we've sampled some of the AI programs, and we have not found it up to par with what we're currently doing. So I know that they're improving because I see new things every day. And I do think probably in about a year or so, it's probably going to be pretty good. But right now it's a little, it's just, it has a hard time hearing us and then organizing like we want it. But I think it's coming.
And then in terms of security, is there anything that worries you? How are you handling cybersecurity compliance and all of that? Do you sort of have a third party that advises you and helps you through that? Because regulations, as you say, are always changing. So what does that look like, and how do you manage that ever-changing side of things as well as a growing practice?
So we do hire a third party, and actually my office manager covers most of that. So he gets all the regulations and he makes sure that we're up to date.
So, okay, that was great. We talked a lot about profitability. Is there anything else that you would like to leave as a tip for other business owners, other practice owners, as they think about growing their businesses? How can they approach profitability different?
Yeah. And this is a little off topic, but I'm going to get back around to it, to the profitability. So burnout is really rampant in the medical profession, especially for female doctors, because most female doctors do not only their work, but then they go home and they manage their household and their children as well. Sports, all the things. I mean, I did it for years. Not that my husband didn't contribute. It's just that's the way that it is. So burnout is very real. So with my doctors, I really worry about their quality of life. And we do, when it comes to review time, we do ask about quality of life. Like, is it working? Is it not working? Obviously, we have to make sure that the business is profitable, and we have to make sure that their pay structure actually matches what the business needs. But I think if you have happy doctors, you're going to be very profitable.
I love that. Yeah. So it comes right back down to people. Yeah. Okay. So what is the one piece of advice you wish someone had shared with you earlier on when you started the business?
To make more relationships, I think. It's actually, I was really good at it in some regards and not good at it in other regards. So I am great at getting out there and networking and talking to the right people and just putting myself out there. I'm good at that because I'm driven and I want the practice to succeed and I really believe in what we do. But I was in practice full time up until actually 2025. I had a shoulder injury and it put me out of practice entirely for a while. I'm easing back in now. But during that not practicing time, I was just the boss. So I'd come in, and I used to come into the practice and already be working because I have a 45-minute drive to work. And so I'd already be working. I'd come in, I'd start talking about work, going right to work, talking to my staff, my doctors, and there was never that warm-up time of like, hi, how are you? What's going on? How's your day? How's your weekend? How are your kids? I wasn't doing that. And I do have some regret about that. And nobody told me, like, hey, you have to do this. I just showed up and did it my way. So I'm trying to teach my mentees that now. Like, hey, it is important because you want those people to love this place as much as you love it. You have to make sure that they are also taken care of. And we always, like, took care of them physically, but maybe we weren't always taking care of their emotional space as good as we could have.
Mm. Okay, that's a good nugget, even for people who are not in healthcare, just taking care of your people and showing them that you care.
It's worth the little extra effort. It really is.
It is, yeah. And then last question. We always either start or end with this question. What is your dream? So, you work hard, you're doing all of this. What is the big dream?
Okay, so it could be a little crazy. You know how you do those obituary exercises? They're a little morbid when you're first getting into leadership, where they're like, mm-hmm. What do you want written in your obituary?
Yeah.
And I think that's where mine came from. Like, I don't have like a here's where I'm going to retire. I honestly don't know if I'm ever going to retire. I like working, and I like doing things. So I will probably work until I die. Maybe not with patients, but maybe doing something. But really what I want people to look back and be like, she had our best interest in mind. Whether it was my patient or my team, one of my doctors, like even my family, So that's what I want. Because I know like we can put our heads down and we can work, but I want them like in the end, like, oh, she was working for this and she got it, or she did it for us, or something along those lines. Like,
I love that. Yeah, you did what you set out to do.
And that's how I think about, like, when I make so we do a lot of decisions based on core values, but that's where a lot of my core values come from, is how does that turn into like a better quality of life for me, for my doctors, for my team, and then like what will the practice be? I mean, I think this practice is going to be around for a long time. I think it's just going to keep switching hands. So.
That's great. That's great. So, Dr. Angie, thank you so much for your time. This has been amazing. Before we go, can you tell our listeners a little bit more about what Taproot Chiropractic does, where we can find out more? And I am going to share your website and a booking link right here, but just a little bit about the business and where they can find out more about you.
Yeah, thank you. So we are in the Hill Country, like I said, so we're in Bulverde, Texas, which is just north of San Antonio. Used to be a small town, no longer a small town, really close to San Antonio. We do relationship style chiropractic. So what that means is you come in, we're going to get to know you, we're going to get to know your family, because we are a family practice. And we will ask you about them occasionally. Maybe you don't want to tell us something, but we already know about it because your best friend or your sister has already told us about it. So it's not like we get a ton of time to spend with you, but over the years, we do get to know you. That also means that we learn about your lifestyle, so we can give you real tips that help. We do try to do everything all encompassing. So we start with the chiropractic part, but then we do things like spring cleanses once a year, which we do in the spring because your body's naturally detoxing. So we do that once a year. We do it as a group. So there's lots of support with it. It's really fun. It's one of my favorite things. We started it, I think, 8 or 9 years ago, and it's just been great. And then throughout the year, we'll do like health resets. Sometimes we do them in the middle, like right after school starts, because that's when a lot of people will stop their good eating habits or they'll stop exercising. And then a lot of times we'll do them again at the beginning of the year. So we do a lot to help you with your health outside of just coming in here and getting adjusted.
That's great. And I am going to share your website so that people can get in touch with you. Thank you again for your time. This has been brought to you by Growth Office Partners. We do 3 things. We do cybersecurity, AI enablement, and cybersecurity workshops. So feel free to reach out to us for that. And I will also share the link to get in touch with Growth Office Partners. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you.